What if I told you there might be a single machine capable of weaponizing, well, the entire planet? I know, it sounds like something straight out of a comic book. But the origins of this idea, they come from one of the greatest minds in history, Nikola Tesla. So stick with me, because we're about to explore how a dream for all of humanity might have been twisted into the world's most powerful and secret weapon.
That's the big question we're tackling today. We're going to look at the technology, the actual patents, and the theories that suggest the answer might be a yes, and a deeply unsettling one at that. We're going to follow the trail all the way from a visionary genius to a very mysterious facility deep in the Alaskan wilderness.
And it all begins right here, with Nikola Tesla. You see, his dream wasn't just about cool inventions. It was about giving free, wireless energy to literally everyone on Earth. But that incredible dream was seen by some very powerful people as a major threat. And its theft, well, that's what set the stage for everything that came after.
What's really striking when you look at this timeline is just how fast the government moved. I mean, the moment Tesla died in his hotel room in 1943, agents were there, seizing his entire life's work. That included his designs for a particle beam weapon he called Teleforce. And the official story? A guy named Dr. John Trump, yes, the former president's uncle, looked it all over and said, nah, it's all worthless. But what happened next tells a very, very different story.
So why was Tesla's dream stopped dead in its tracks? Well, this quote, supposedly from his own financier, J.P. Morgan, pretty much says it all. Free energy for the whole world is an amazing humanitarian idea, right? But for the people who sell power, it's a total disaster for their business model. So when Morgan realized you couldn't just stick a meter on Tesla's dream, he pulled the plug on the funding, and Tesla was pretty much ruined.
So, despite Dr. Trump saying all of Tesla's files were junk, they didn't just end up in a dusty basement. Nope. His particle beam research got quietly absorbed into top-secret military operations, projects with code names like Nick, and later DARPA's Project Seesaw. But after years of funding and research, poof, the projects and Tesla's tech just disappeared from the public record, vanished.
Okay, so fast forward a few decades after Tesla's work goes completely dark. The story picks back up in the modern day with this massive and frankly pretty strange-looking facility rising out of the Alaskan wilderness. This is HARP. And for a lot of people who've looked into this, it seems to be the direct descendant of Tesla's most dangerous ideas.
So what is HARP officially? Well, it's a giant field of 180 antennas. They all work together to shoot a powerful, focused beam of radio energy straight up into the ionosphere. And that's that electrically charged layer of our upper atmosphere that Tesla himself thought was the key to his whole global energy plan.
And here is where you find the central conflict, the big disconnect. The official story has always been, oh, HARP is just for research. We're just studying the pretty lights. But then you read the actual patents it was built on, filed by a physicist named Bernard Eastlund, and the language is, well, it's crystal clear. This thing wasn't designed to study the atmosphere. It was designed to alter it. And you don't even have to take my word for it. In his own words, the inventor, Dr. Eastlund, laid out what it was for. And these were not peaceful scientific goals. They were military through and through. The tech was designed from day one to do things like control communications, destroy missiles, and yes, even modify the weather.
So that brings us to the core accusations against HARP. When you look at its patents and what we know it can do, 3 major potential weapon systems have been theorized. Let's break them down one by one.
These are the big 3, controlling the weather on a massive scale, triggering earthquakes, and, maybe the creepiest of all, the ability to influence the thoughts and emotions of entire populations. I know, it sounds nuts. So the question is, how could any of this even be possible?
Okay, weather control. The theory here hangs on something called chaos theory. A lot of people say, come on, HARP's power is nothing compared to a hurricane. And they're right, but it doesn't have to be. The idea is that all it needs to do is provide a tiny, super precise nudge at just the right moment. It's called the butterfly effect, and it can steer a small weather system and help it grow into something huge and catastrophic. Now for earthquakes. This claim is all about something called resonant frequency. Think about an opera singer hitting a high note and shattering a wine glass. Every single object, from that glass to a bridge, even to a tectonic plate, has a natural frequency it likes to vibrate at. If you can blast energy at that exact frequency, the vibrations just get bigger and bigger until the thing breaks. The theory is that HARP could use low-frequency waves to find the resonant frequency of a fault line and give it a push. And finally, the really wild one, mind manipulation. This is actually based on a proven scientific principle called frequency following response. See, our brains operate on these tiny, extremely low frequencies, ELF waves. And what can HARP generate in the ionosphere? The very same frequencies. Now get this, U.S. Navy-funded research has already proven that if you expose a brain to these external frequencies, you can alter people's mental states, everything from causing hallucinations to triggering intense emotional experiences.
And listen, these concerns aren't just coming from people on the internet. Major world bodies have taken this stuff very seriously. The United Nations has passed resolutions trying to ban environmental warfare, and one resolution from 1999 specifically called out HARP as a major concern for its potential to manipulate human beings.
Okay, so having the ability to do something is one thing. Actually using it is something else entirely. So, let's look at some of the circumstantial evidence that people point to as proof that these weapons have already been used.
A really troubling pattern starts to emerge when you look at some major recent disasters. Just before the devastating earthquakes in Haiti, Sichuan, and the one that caused the Fukushima tsunami, monitoring stations all recorded these bizarre, unexplained anomalies in the ionosphere directly above the disaster zone. And in a lot of these cases, it's documented that HARP was fired up and active at the time.
And these theories have even broken into global politics. I mean, right after the 2010 Haiti earthquake, the president of Venezuela, Hugo Chavez, went on TV and publicly accused the United States of causing the disaster on purpose with a secret tectonic weapon.
So, where does this all leave us? We have patents for weapons, we have some very suspicious correlations. Let's try to separate what we can actually confirm as solid fact from what still sits in the realm of speculation.
Okay, here are the things we know for sure. These are the undeniable facts. The HARP facility is 100% real. It was funded and operated for most of its life by military groups like DARPA. And the patents it's based on explicitly, and I mean word for word, describe military applications like weather modification. These points are not up for debate.
But, and this is a big but, on the other side of things, even though those correlations are fascinating and pretty spooky, there is no public smoking gun proof that HARP has ever actually caused a specific disaster. And as any good scientist will remind you, just because two things happen at the same time, it doesn't mean one caused the other. Correlation is not causation. Now, in 2015, the military made a big show of handing over control of HARP to the University of Alaska Fairbanks, saying it was all about being more transparent. But critics and some former employees have claimed this was just a PR move, and that the most sensitive and powerful parts of the facility were packed up and removed before the university ever got the keys.
And that really brings us full circle, doesn't it? It is such a powerful and kind of tragic irony. Nikola Tesla, he envisioned a technology that would give free energy and knowledge to every single person on the planet. And now that same fundamental research is the basis of a top-secret project hidden behind barbed wire, operated by people with classified budgets.
Ultimately, this whole story leaves us with a huge question for our time. We are developing these godlike technologies that can literally manipulate the planet's own systems. So when that technology is developed in secret by military groups with secret goals, who gets to decide where the line is between research and a weapon of war? And maybe more importantly, how would the rest of us ever know if that line has already been crossed?